Jaguar XK120 birch grey, a wonderfully unrestored car, ready to drive. And here it is with the top up, with the hood up. And actually I love to drive it with the hood up. It's such a nice hood. This was restored very much to the original specification. The fabric was made for this restoration. There was a lot of research to find out what is French grey, and this is French grey. Was restored some 20 years ago. And actually, yes, I love to drive it with the hood up because it's such a cozy place to be. The unrestored engine bay of this wonderful Jaguar XK engine, 3.4 liters. Very original. Today I'm sitting in a Jaguar XK120 drophead coupe, 1953, May 1953, first delivered to the USA, Illinois, and it's a wonderful car. It's an amazing car. It's very original, birch grey with blue leather and French grey top. Start the engine. And we are here in at Lake the Murtensee. It's a wonderful Swiss region, at a wonderful lake, and famous for its old medieval city of Murtensee, famous for its wine. The vineyards are wonderful. It's a very pretty region at the border of the German-speaking part of Switzerland and the French-speaking part of Switzerland. And I'm lucky to drive in this wonderful birch grey Jaguar XK120 drophead coupe. As you probably know, there were 3 different body types of the Jaguar XK120. They started with the Roadster, then they made the fixed head coupe, and finally this drophead coupe. Jaguar XK120 cars are really amazing cars. They are fantastic to drive. They are very powerful, 168 horsepower for a relatively light car from modern times. It's very good acceleration, very safe, and very, very reliable. I have this car since 1996, and I have so many stories to tell. I have so many experiences with this car. We've been everywhere to Europe. We have been to England, to France, to Italy, Germany, Holland, Austria. I've done so many competitions in this car, and it literally never let me down. I had so few problems with this car for these 26 years I drive it. It's really reliable. If it's well maintained, if you have a talented mechanic, it doesn't overheat, it starts in the cold, it's really very reliable. And it's fun to drive. It has a 4-speed Moss gearbox, which is easy to handle, easy gear switching. It has such a wonderful XK engine with a lot of torque. You have everything a driver wants. You have brakes which you have to take care of, especially when driving in the mountains and driving downhill. Then you have to be careful, but the car is not so heavy, so if you don't overdo it, it's really safe, and you keep up with motor traffic without any problem, even in the steepest Alps crossing, no problems at all. If you never have visited this region of Switzerland, Morten Lake, Morten, be sure to do so. Most beautiful it is in summertime. That's my feeling. Every season has its own charm, but for me, summertime here at the Lake de Mora is really wonderful. You have the lake, which is not deep, so it's warm. You can go swimming. You have those wonderful vineyards. You have fantastic restaurants with fantastic terrace. You can go wine tasting. It's a really pretty region. Be sure to visit it. brakes, no servo steering, but it has a huge steering wheel. So as you had physics in school, you know that with this huge steering wheel, it's not difficult to turn the wheels even for parking. And when you're not used to such a huge steering wheel, it's a little bit strange. Doesn't look so sporty, and it's not that easy to enter the car because the steering wheel is really huge. But if you are used to it, it's really good to drive. Jaguar XK cars need to be driven, and they really need to be driven not hard, but they've been made for really roads which are not today's standards. So they are robust cars, they are stable cars. They have a chassis which has been developed for a huge saloon, and only because they haven't been able to make enough of bodies for this saloon, they had more chassis than bodies. So they decided, okay, what will we do? Well, let's do a sports car. Let's do a sports car on this chassis, and the chassis is really very stable, and that the whole sports car now benefits of it, because it's really stable on the road, and the rust is not that much of an issue at this car. So that and the overall reliability made that so many of those cars have survived. The survival rate of the Jaguar XK cars is really huge, astonishing. And that's also a good thing if you want to buy one, because you have a huge choice on the market, and the prices are for such an extraordinary car really reasonable. You can find good examples for reasonable prices, and the car is really something special. As you see, the drive is really effortless. You can enjoy long trips. I've done many long trips in this car, and it's astonishing what you can achieve in this car. One day I did start in the morning in Bern, the capital of Switzerland, and did sleep in Windsor in England, and try to do that in another old-timer car. It's really smooth and effortless driving. It's a marvelously engineered car. The engine is one of the best engines ever produced, in my humble opinion. There's 6-cylinder, 3.4 liter engine. It was very long produced. It was introduced in the sports car, the Jaguar XK120 in 1948, if I remember correctly, and it was produced up to 1992. It was used in Jaguar XK120, XK140, XK150. It was used in the E-Type. It was used in the Mark II, Jaguar Mark II. Oh, in many in the saloons, Jaguar many saloons, like also the XJ saloons, and the final car which got this engine was the Daimler DS420 limousine. The last XK engine was built in 1992, so they built these engines from 1948 to 1992. That's incredible. That's really fantastic, and a proof how genius those engineers have been who have engineered this engine. As you see, really effortless driving. I'm switching the gears up and down, up and down. I'm handling the traffic, and it's easy. It's fun. So don't believe anyone who tells you that those cars are not reliable, or they have any particular problems, mechanical problems, because if well maintained, if you have a good mechanic, they are really very reliable cars, and no overheating, no engine problems. You really can safely drive longer distances with those cars. As I said, I've been to England, to France. Comfortable, safe, and fun. And fast.